Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Monday Matt channel, and this is a topic that I haven't fully broached yet, but I feel I need to because my name's been brought up, and with good reason, with very good reason. So, a few weeks ago, gaming lost an icon. That would be John TotalBiscuit Bain. Him and I, last I saw, were friendly with one another. We talked a few times when GamerGate started, nothing since then. And I was very, very bummed out when he passed away. I was very upset when he died because he was a person to strive to live up to. He was a role model in many respects to many different people, not just me. And here we get this hit piece article, and there were a few, but this one is bad. This one is really, really bad. And it's titled TotalBiscuit's Legacy and the Collateral Damage of GamerGate. Because again, 4 years later, GamerGate is still a villain. I've talked about this before. And when people trying to equate it to Star Wars, obviously it's a load of crap. Now, what I love here is this particular little thing that pops up. Opinions expressed by Forbes contributors are their own, right? Obviously referring to what Fruzsina Eordogh, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I just want to really call her what she is, which is a real see you next Tuesday. Because that's she is. This is a person who is so far out there in terms of stubbornness and a lack of ability, an inability to even understand where and why she was wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been stubborn too, and I've been real hard to get over the point on a few things. But she is just making stuff up now, and it needs to be discussed. So this article, I'm not going to go through it all. Just read you the first paragraph here. Says the late YouTube legend known as John TotalBiscuit Bain would have turned 34 on Sunday had he not lost his struggle to bowel cancer a month ago. Instead of happy birthdays and tributes to his decade-plus career in the video game industry, his name is currently being evoked with the firing of 2 game developers and associated mob harassment. His critics call it fitting that this is Bain's legacy, but many of his fans, some of whom have grown up with him, are wondering why some internet drama from 2014 is still relevant enough in 2018 to damage Bain's brand forever. Even posthumously, TotalBiscuit is causing controversy. I'd like to understand why and how. Fruzina, whatever your name is. I want to know how. Now, what she's referring to, obviously, is the firing of Jessica Price and Peter Fries from ArenaNet, especially Guild Wars 2, over some Twitter controversy. Controversy that Jessica Price caused. Controversy that she brought on herself. Controversy and consequences that are entirely 100% her own. But remember, the age that we live in right now, guys, the age that we find ourselves is that women can do no wrong, period. You want to call me sexist for saying that? Fine, that's your opinion. But I'm running with fact here. And this entire article and everything that Fruzina has been espousing since then backs up my claim. Jessica Price attacked the fan base while acting as a company representative, and she was terminated as a result. Had she chosen not to respond, had she chosen not to attack the guy who was simply asking a question, interjecting his thoughts into what was considered to be a public open thread because it's Twitter, and Twitter is public, she lost her job. And people out there are in the gaming industry, those in the left-leaning gaming sphere, are losing their damn minds. So they need a boogeyman, they need a scapegoat. So if it's not going to be GamerGate specifically, it's going to be a dead man. That's what they're going to do. They're going to target a dead guy. Because why not? He's not around to defend himself. He's not around to correct the record. He's not around in order to stamp you back into the ground from whence you came because of your idiotic, unethical, craptastic journalistic standards, if that's even what you want to call journalism. This is a hit piece, let's be fair. You know, I'm going to go through the whole thing here. Okay, I'm going to go through the whole thing to the end. And there's a long article. Okay, now this is where it really gets her. Final paragraph here says, one of the most important things to Bain, according to his friend, was his reputation and that his audience trusted him, making it all the more tragic if Bain is remembered for sharing fake news and inadvertently legitimizing a harassment campaign. Clearly, Bain didn't do enough to atone for his perceived GamerGate sins, and if there is a lesson in all of this, it's that one must make peace and settle any internet beef you have with feminists while you're still living. History is written by the victors after all. And then just the icing on the cake. Ooh, just the icing on the cake. Jenna Bain, wife and CEO of all media related to Total Biscuit, did not respond to requests for comment. And why in the hell would she? Why would Jenna, grieving the loss of her husband to a bout with bowel cancer, respond to an obvious hit piece, a mischaracterization of a man who many view as an absolute hero to them, someone to aspire to be like? Why would she remotely respond to what this, and I'm using hard air quotes here, journalist would have to say? But she may not have responded, but many people out there did. Many people out there did. In fact, we have her getting so mad about it that a couple days ago, she's like, "Oh, what's that now? Harassment isn't associated to Total Biscuit's brand because my mentions say otherwise. You attacked a dead man and people are responding. He didn't do it. You did it. But no. Take no responsibility. Fruzina, take no responsibility at all, because you didn't do nothing. You a good boy, right? You just a good person. You just doing your job. You offering an op-ed piece. You didn't lie and mislabel someone's intentions because you wanted to get clicks, because you wanted to get paid by Forbes, which is now doing what it can through that little itty bitty thing in the beginning to distance themselves from you. Oh, it's their contributors' opinions are their own. Forbes has gone down the freaking shitter. Now, but she continues on here to say, other stuff, some responses to legitimate tweets. I've always amazed at how so few people know about third-party troll involvement with GG. And she says here, Gana, A-Team, Sam Hyde fanboys, let alone the IRC chat origins. Sorry your hero fell for a fake narrative. Now, GNNA stands for the Gay Nigger Association of America. It comes from something awful. The A-Team came out of 8chan, and Sam Hyde is, well, $1 Million Extreme, and that's a whole other freaking thing with Brianna Wu. The IRC chat was a Five Guys Burgers and Fries, and that was where people were talking who were trying to figure this whole thing out back in the early days of GamerGate, before it was even called GamerGate back in August of 2014. Total Biscuit didn't fall for a fake narrative, and I know this because I was what he was talking about in part. Now, she goes on to say, I didn't harass Jenna. I didn't harass her. I emailed his courtesy and tweeted at her once. I didn't harass her. No, but your article is full of lies. Now, you go on to talk about GamerGazi here, saying has an almost perfect timeline of events. Yes, GamerGazi. Yeah, they're 100% trustworthy, right? We call them AGG, anti-gamergaters. They made up so much crap as time went on. It's hysterical to look back through and watch them fight each other when one person decides to step out of the rank of out of that echo chamber. They like this to clamor over the bodies to get to the next step. But this is where I come into play here. She says that Total Biscuit was an expert in video game ethics when he joined the convo does not negate the fact that the origins were harassment and trolls. Remember, he was responding to a fake DMCA takedown, but the video was removed because of community guidelines. No, my video was not removed because of community guidelines. In fact, here is the original image that I posted a long time ago saying Hell Hath No Fury is no longer available due to a copyright claim by Zoe Quinn. Well, what do you know about that? What do you think about that? Huh? What do you know? What do you know about this one here? That's not a community guideline strike, and the video was reinstored a couple days later. And I know this because of this image right here, where I got the information from the counter notification, right? So, and I blocked out her claimant email, right? I have her email, by the way. It's an email that I'm sure. I don't want to sit there and say specifically what it is. I don't want to dox Zoe Quinn, but there's been a lot of, this has come up quite a bit, and it's been asked often of me over the course of the past couple of days whether or not this legitimately happened, which it totally did. Asked here by Dwarven Hobble, who I just want to give a quick shout out to. He's been doing a wonderful job covering this over on Kotaku Nation. And he asked me, just checking something, but did Fruzina ever contact you for an unedited screenshot of the DMCA Zoe did on your video? And I said, nope, and I don't think she will either. And I've said, I have the receipts, I have the information. Now, to put this to bed finally, I will tell you that I have Zoe's information, and that in some respects, and I don't want to say how I can confirm it, I can confirm it. I've been able to confirm it since August 2014. I have known that it's been Zoe since 2014. 4 years. I know about this. I can prove it. But no journalist has ever once asked me, for that proof. No journalist has ever once come to me asking for that evidence, asking for the information, asking for any of it. Not one in 4 years of lying about Gamergate, of lying about Zoe Quinn. And no journalist, whenever reading Zoe Quinn's book, that maybe didn't 100% take it at face value, right? If the three lies about me in that book, I can prove 2 of them, and I do in the book, or in my video response to it. So this goes to show you precisely that she has absolutely zero ethical intention for correcting the record. But she's go, oh, it's a fake DMCA takedown. It's not a fake. And it ain't for community guidelines. It was a copyright strike that I won. And when I won, I got her information because that's how this works. You see, I got the information. Now, she goes on to play the victim here. Right? She goes on. This is just seriously from this morning, saying, like, I knew people would be mad about my think piece, but wow, I didn't even think my opinions were that controversial. But apparently the overtone window had moved further to the right than I realized. You attacked a dead man you attacked a dead man and his legacy over something he was tangentially involved with for a short period of time. Come January 1st, 2015, he was pretty much out of the game. All right. He followed a bunch of us in Gamergate in order to get on Randy Harper's block list, in order to make sure that people who were like you, disingenuous people like you, would block him by using that list. He did it purposefully so you would leave him alone, because you clearly have no interest in the truth, as your entire article here, your hit piece on Total Biscuit a month after his death basically shows. And at the end, when you're like, well, he didn't do enough to tone to feminism because his history is written by the victors. Oh, Jesus Christ. And you wonder why people are mad at you. You wonder. But I love this here. I love this because then she tries to play again, once more, play the victim. Says, really disappointed to see the false narrative that I somehow bullied a widow because I tweeted at her once and emailed the PR, right? We already covered that one. But she still wrote the article condemning a man who's dead, who can't defend himself, condemning a man who's done nothing wrong. Right. But no, she's the victim here. Follows it up by saying, if anything, this would have been great opportunity for Jenna Bain to come forward and say, no, don't harass this digital culture reporter. Don't dox. Try to get her fired. That's not what my husband stood for. I don't want harassment associated with my husband's brand. And I love this response here from Daniel Newberry. He says, I know I used a grieving widow and her deceased husband in my hit piece, but really, why hasn't she come to defend me yet? And that is where we find ourselves in this one. Fruzina, whatever, is a liar, is a crappy journalist, is completely not aware of why people hate her, is going to forever have her name tarnished by the lies that she's telling. And the thing is, all she has to do is come to me, and I could give her the information, and I would give her the information. But not one journalist in 4 years has ever wanted to come correct the record. Not one. Because this narrative right here, this narrative that Gamergate is the all-seeing, all-knowing, all-encompassing boogeyman of the internet, is enough to get clicks, enough to get views, and enough to fill coffers. That's all it is, guys. That's all it ever will be. A watchdog group of people who wanted ethics in video game journalism, wanted journalists to actually write about things and be enthusiast press and not be disingenuous and not try to lie to you and not try to deceive you. They're the problems here. You have to love it. But she acknowledges that third-party trolls were a thing. By her own admission, third-party trolls were a thing. But she still continues to attack Biscuit, to attack John, and she still continues to lie about what Gamergate was, even acknowledging third-party trolls. Something we've all known forever. We've all known that the FBI had done their research, and that at the end of the day, Gamergate didn't do nothing. Gamergate can actually say that. Fruzina, you can't. Not one goddamn bit. And I'm looking forward to the day for you to finally understand that. It won't be today. It won't be tomorrow. One day you'll get it. Because this will follow you. Because you attacked the legacy of a dead man who couldn't defend himself. You wanted him to pray at the altar of feminism, and you used it to bash him over the head. You used it to piss on his grave for for no other purpose than just because you were mad that a writer for Guild Wars 2 attacked the consumer base. Yeah. You're not the good person here. You're the bad guy. I hope you realize that, because the rest of us do. If you enjoyed this video, please consider becoming a patron today for just $1 per month over at patreon.com/MundaneMatt.